friends. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you made it through Thanksgiving. Hopefully got to eat lots of good stuff. I'm excited because next week is our Christmas party, and we're also starting our Christmas series next week, so it's gonna be lots of fun. So today we're wrapping up our series called It's Personal, and we're talking about kind of getting to know people better. And you're probably like me, and at some point in time there has been somebody that you have kind of decided what you think of them, how you view that person. And we do this for lots of different reasons. It can be because of what they look like, what they're wearing, what other people tell us about them. But in my experience, that has most of the time been false. So when I actually start to get to know that person, it's completely different. I learn things about them I didn't know, and completely changes that relationship I have with that person. So we also assume that we know the stories of other people, but there's so much more to a person than what we see on the outside. And so every one of us has a backstory, and that includes us. We also have a backstory, and we look to people to understand our stories better, and hope that they'll understand us better. But are we doing our part to understand others in the same way? We rarely try to understand the backstory of people in our lives, and so because of that, we're really missing out on this opportunity to be personal with them, and knowing the story of who they are. Jesus took the time to understand people, and we see that again in Luke, where we're talking about Zacchaeus. When Jesus came by, he looked up at Zacchaeus and called him by name. "Zacchaeus," he said, "quick, come down. I must be a guest in your home today." Zacchaeus quickly climbed down and took Jesus to his house in great excitement and joy. Now, Jesus knew that there was more to Zacchaeus than what everyone in the town just thought of him or assumed about him, and so the people were displeased. "He has gone to be the guest of a notorious sinner," they grumbled. Where we live is way more than just our physical address, and understanding our stories, our circumstances, is really a window into who we really are and what our lives are really like. And so Jesus wanted to get to know Zacchaeus in a bigger way, to understand Zacchaeus. And so he did it by getting personal and showing up where Zacchaeus lived. When it comes to understanding our own stories and the stories of other people, we can look to the life of Jesus as an example, as he sought out ways to be personal with the people he interacted with. So Philippians 2:5-8 says, "You must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had. Though he was God, he did not think of equality with God as something to cling to. Instead, he gave up his divine privileges. He took the humble position of a servant and was born as a human being. When he appeared in human form, he humbled himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on the cross." Here's what we can take away from this. It's personal because Jesus knows our story, because Jesus stepped into our world as a human. Jesus walked the earth to understand and step into our story and to experience our world and where we live. It can be hard to let people into our lives and let people see where we live. But whenever we begin to boldly share our stories, it really brings the opportunity and makes other people feel more comfortable to share their stories with you. So here is where we can start. Wrestle with the idea and acknowledge Jesus knows you. Let someone else into your story. Begin to really understand the stories of others. Our lives can really change when we begin to allow people to see who we are and to understand our stories, and even more so when we begin to understand other people's stories. So remember that just like Jesus invited himself to Zacchaeus' home and wanted to know him and understand him better, Jesus wants that same relationship with you. He wants a personal relationship with you. And so this week, think about what you can, what it would look like for you to truly have others understand your story, and also starting to understand the story of others.